Coach, appears Bradley Lofton perhaps his best start of the year so far. What would you see from him out of the start?
Nice and calm, just pitched, and he's in a learning process of learning how to pitch at this level, and but he's really good. And when he pitches, which I thought he did tonight, instead of just throwing, he's just really tough to hit.
I know at some point he'll be a weekend starter. How tempting is it with the challenges you've had, maybe to kind of push him out there maybe a little bit earlier than you planned?
It is, and he's probably getting closer and closer, to that. It's just you have to miss a midweek and then come back. So it's coming back from our weekend. We threw a lot of arms. We just felt like, hey, we needed some momentum and play good today and see where he's at. But he's pitching better every day.
What'd you like that you saw from the offense today? Kind of seemed like they jumped on him early there.
I just thought it was a lot of good at bats in a row. We put together some crooked numbers there, and we've talked a lot. We've had usually a good at bat, and then a bad at bat, and we're just trying to string more together. So we've talked about having a higher level of focus and driving in some runs, and I thought they did that today.
When you looked at the depth you guys have offensively, a lot of guys trying to push for more at bats. How much does it help to have a guy like Bryce Chance you can kind of move around out there and keep him in the lineup when you want to, but also have other guys who can come in?
Well, very true, and he's kind of she's probably stolen some spots because he's played so well. But I just came back from the weekend, and I know we got to get Dakota Jordan going. I just know how special he is. I know we have to get. I got Aaron Downs sitting over there, who's a really special bat, and then some other guys too. I mean, David Mershon, I thought had some really good at bats tonight. So we have a talented bench. It's nice just to see those guys get a chance to. Some of them sit around for a week or two and not play, and they get after it. They work hard. They got a great attitude. It's nice to see them get out there and get the opportunities.
We saw Nate Chester getting some good at bats tonight. He's been playing a little more at third base. Is he someone you think could factor in there, going forward?
Definitely, I think so. I mean, especially had another good night tonight and doing some things. So he's a guy that's definitely in the mix, and he played some there this weekend. He played the last half of the game on Sunday.
Get Aaron back tonight. I mean, it's been since opening weekend since Nixon's taken the mound and had a bit of challenge, but how important is it to get him back, get him going for you?
Well, this was just part of his rehab. So we had 15 pitches or 5 hitters, and he hit 3 on the first pitch. So it kind of put me in a predicament. He struck the one guy, the last guy out he faced, and he's staring at me because he don't want me to come out. And I told him, I said it was 5 or the other. So he's such a tough nut. He didn't want to give me the ball, which I like. And I thought he looked good. I mean, he felt good, looked good, spinning out a little bit on those HBPs. But that's just being out there for the first time in a while. So we're progressing with him, daily, and I feel good about it.
How close are you to getting some other guys back?
They're getting there. You ask me every week. I know it's about to get on some bullpens with some of the other guys. So I think we'll see them. They're feeling good. I just it's just hard to rush them. It just doesn't do any good to rush them. And so hopefully we'll get them back soon.
When you come out and take out Aaron there, what do you think of Casey coming in? It seemed like he was aggressive right away getting that out.
Yeah,
how much do you like to see kind of him stacking some performances together?
He's been putting some really good performances together. I mean, he was good at Kentucky. He was good at was he Lafayette? I think maybe pitched well. So he's starting to get back to his form too. Just more confidence.
That Colton has had some better ABs here in the last few ball games. What do you see? Because it seems like for a while people are pitching a little bit different.
Yeah.
You kind of adjust, get film on him. What do you see differently from him these days?
He's getting a swing off, and really the backside hit he had tonight. I mean, when he's good, he has the ability to go backside. And I thought he got a little pulley, for a week or two, but he's, I feel like he's getting closer to being back. He's had two really good days of practice. And he's a real hitter. And, in the 2 weeks that he probably just been okay, he's probably still on base every other time. I mean, he walks, he HBPs, he still keeps the lineup moving, but there's some real power and he can do some damage. I mean, he can win some games with a couple swings, and so he did that early in the year, and hopefully we're seeing that again now.
Bradley, it feels like you had your best outing so far this year. How would you describe how you felt today, what was working for you?
So far, my best outing, but I still won 100% today, but I went out there and battled, and mechanics were good and a lot of strikes, so cut down on the walks a lot since the previous outing, so I'd say it's a good improvement.
What do you attribute that to? I mean, the lack of walks, is it just not kind of getting some experience on a college mound, or is it something mechanical you're doing?
Just mechanical in my head.
Coach was talking about, you going backside a bit more and be better with that. I mean, did you feel like you had a stretch there where you were trying to pull a bit too much, and was there any adjustment you kind of had to make?
I wouldn't say I was trying to pull too much. I was maybe just spinning out a little bit. But yeah, working the backside more just opens up a lot more options for me. So yeah, I've been working that a lot more.
It seemed like starting at Frisco, people were pitching you a little bit differently. It's like you get some things on tape, and all of a sudden they got to circle this guy in the lineup. How are teams going to be pitching you differently at this point in the year than they were earlier in the year?
Not as many fastballs, a lot more off speed, and I'd say not in the zone, maybe a little bit outside the zone, trying to get me to chase, get myself out. So yeah.
Was it a little different today compared to the last couple of weeks? Because obviously you have Hunter right behind you today, who's been on a tear lately. What was it different about today?
You know, they just gave me a few more pitches to hit, and I squared them up, and it worked out. So.
Bradley, we know at some point, you know, you're going to be a weekend starter, maybe this year, maybe it's next year, whatever. I mean, what do you do to kind of mentally prepare for that, to kind of make that transition from midweek guy to possibly a weekend guy?
Just go out there and pitch.
Is there anything that you do differently when you get ready to pitch, maybe on game day that you don't do any other day?
No, I do the same thing every game day, and during practice I have my own set of stuff that I do. It's just repetitive and building a good muscle memory. So yeah.
What's that like for you as a starter when your offense goes out there and puts 9 or 10 runs in the first couple innings?
It's good to know that you're pitching with a lead.
And you guys still kind of growing up together, you and Ross. I mean, what have you seen from him as a receiver? I know you probably throwing a bullpens with him and things like that. But, you know, what's it like throwing a guy like him, even though you didn't throw to him tonight?
I don't really focus on the catcher. I go out there and do my own thing.
Colton, big weekend coming up this weekend. Obviously, last weekend was not a good one. What do you guys need to do to rebound this weekend, get some W's?
Just focus on the small things that we need to improve on, and just fill up the zone, make plays on defense, and better time to hitting.
Bradley, you're wearing that shirt. I'm going to ask you for the office.
Michael Scott, of course.
Yeah, good answer.